Hi, this is Sonia with Artsy Solutions, and I finally finished my journal. And it took me a little while on the cover because trying to assemble it was a little bit harder than I expected. I did it in the fashion similar to how Barbara from 49 Dragonflies, how she did hers. She used I think it was a planner. It was originally a planner, like opener, whatever that thing's called. But I didn't have a planner because I typically don't do planners. But I found like this, I found at a thrift store a like photo album. So that's what I did, and I made a soft cover journal out of it, and then here we are. So, and I'll show you the process of how I assembled this. But the fabric is basically recycled. It's a pair of pants or capris that I used to have that I couldn't fit anymore. And so I liked how they had the little holes on them. So I just went on ahead and I cut those up and added the fabric on here and stained it and all that good old fun stuff. And then my spine is kind of, it's not like how Luise did her. It's similar to how Luise did hers, but she used Pringles can, but I didn't have a Pringles can, and plus hers is on the inside. But I still have like these little things going across. It's kind of how she did her Christmas journal, and I wanted to have something similar to that. But I'm still learning about a lot of mixed media and all that good old stuff. So I'm still learning. Work with me. And so for the front of it, the whole theme is like Effie. He has his little headphones on, and it says, "Smile, I'm living my best life." That, you know, that song that you can sometimes plays or whatever. That's what this is about. It's like Effie's having a good time. He's coming to see his friends. He's going to the beach to meet the little critters and everybody. And it's at Christmas time, so he's just bringing the fun with him. So he's got his headphones on and his little Santa hat. And I've got like, it's for the Dephemerember 2023. And this right here, I had printed out the Dephemerember. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I printed it out a couple of times. One on, what do you call that paper? Not vellum, it's not acetate. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, I'll have a list in the description of what I used. I printed it out, and then I just I stitched it over top of just some white copy paper because I liked how it gave that shiny kind of look. And then I just went on Canva and I found some different images like the Christmas tree, the little calendar that says December, and then I typed in "Smile and living my best life," and then music to my ears. And just little things, and that's where I found the little headphones and the Christmas Santa hat. And what I did in order to make all of this fit, I had to upload Luise's image into Canva, and I had to find some stuff that would fit over top. So I had to get some images that would fit that size. But I printed it out on a much smaller scale than what the cover had, because the cover was much bigger. But with all this other stuff that I was trying to create, the scenery I was trying to create, I needed Effie to be a little bit shorter and smaller. So I printed it out at like, on my printer, it originally says like 22% for at full size for it to best fit for the page. But I reduced it down to, I think, like 13% or something like that. And I printed Effie out on some Inkjet canvas paper, the same kind that I use for my pillow. Because, like I said, I have an Inkjet printer, but when it prints out on that canvas paper, the detail and colors are remarkable. Because I don't have like a really fancy, you know, printer like some people have. I just have the basics, so I have to use what I have and work with it and do the best I can. So, and then I added some different mediums and stuff like that on there. There's some crackle in there, some Tim Holtz translucent crackle paste. And then we've got some texture paste on like Effie's headphones and there's also some crackle on there too, a little bit. I don't know if you can tell. And I just wanted to grunge up some of this stuff. I used a lot of like not glossy accents, but embossing. I used some Tim Holtz micro distress glaze on a lot of these. And then I just had some leftover fabric. This is the string that came from some of the fabrics that I used inside of here. I kept it, and then it was blue, but I wanted it a little bit darker, so I just ran some acrylic black paint over top of it just to make it a little bit darker and grungier. And then I just layered behind Effie this embossing. There's an embossing folder. It's the Tim Holtz, oh, I can't think of the name of it. I should have made a list of everything, but I didn't. I'll have a list in the description of what I use. It's a Tim Holtz embossing folder, though. And then I've got layers of like old book pages and scraps and original other book pages and stuff like that in here, and scraps of just different stuff, music sheet. We've got some cheesecloth. And then, and all of this fabric is mainly, some of it is from my pair of pants or my capris that I had, and then some of it's from some other fabric. So that's the outside of it. And I didn't create like a handle because I don't think I need one. It's fine. This is my personal little journal anyway, so there's some mistakes in here, but it's fine. It's for fun. So we open it up, and so we have this little Effie magnetic pocket, or yeah, it's like a pocket, I guess you could call it. And then I just took different pieces of the freebies that came from both Barbara and Luise, and a combination of those, and then I also used one of my Christmas digital kits, Christmas Cheer, I think that's the one that I have, on Etsy. I used it in combination with several other just different things. And then I stamped luggage and some of the words that are, well, not these, but some of the letters and numbers and things that are within here. I stamped some images, and I had some leftovers, and I just like cut them out or whatever and put them in here, and that helped decorate. And then on this, what do you call it? This little cute mushroom. I fussy cut that out from one of the freebies for the Dephemerember. And I just added a little bit of Tim Holtz Ranger. I used the embossing pen, and then I used some of that glaze, that Tim Holtz speckled egg distress glaze. I think that's embossing glaze. I think that's what it's called. And it was just enough to give it a little bit of shine. And I took some more foam pens, ink pens, and I added a little bit of white dots and black dots, just to kind of bring out what was already in there. Because like I said, I printed these out using Inkjet, so my printer isn't always, it's not crisp with the images, but when you add embossing powder, it just really brings out that dull finish. And so here we have scraps here. So this is a pocket or tuck spot, and then this is a tuck spot right here. You put that there, and then you come on over here, and this right here I created. It holds the Dephemerember prompt list, and I actually made 2 of these, and I've got one of them. I've been keeping one of them inside my little scrap bag. And the reason why I did 2 of them was simply just in case I come up with an idea, I can like write it down as I'm doing my prompts. And I don't know, I'm considering on one of them like cutting this out and then just cutting out each one of my prompts as I go along. But I still need to have a fresh one so that whenever I complete it, I'll still have that list of what to do next, if that makes any sense. But here's this one. You may have already seen that in a previous video. But yeah, it opens up like that, and it's kind of like a little shaker in a way. I just put like a little bit of shaker material in there. I didn't want to overdo it and make it too thick. So we have that one, and it closes with the Velcro closure, and then I just added on a few extra little decorations. And then back here, I added that pocket back there, and I did some embossing on it. And then I just added one of my little cards or tags that I turned into like a journaling spot or something. I don't know. And I added it to the back here. So that's that one, and then this one looks like this. And then you have your pocket right here from the way that they showed us how they did that. And then I had printed this out twice, and I think that's where this came from. I printed one copy of it on the cardstock, 110-pound cardstock, and then I printed another one on, not the OHP paper, but I cannot think of the name of that paper. It's whatever that clear transparent stuff is. That's what I copied it out on. And so this is a pocket here, and then this is a pocket as well. So, and then we put our little prompt down in here, and then this closes, and we have that. So we have those two, and we've got our little prompt list. And then for this right here, I just I took little bits and pieces of leftover cardstock that I had printed out, that at first I didn't think I was going to need it, but I did. And so I just kind of decorated it using those leftover scraps from there. And then this right here, like I said, I have an inkjet printer, and I had accidentally printed the pillow cover on, instead of printing it on the canvas, I accidentally printed it out on some copy paper. And so I was like, well, instead of just wasting it, I'm just going to add it to some black cardstock. And then I added a little bit of glossy accents and some embossing enamel, speckled egg, and then just kind of made Effie pop a little bit, you know. So, and then I just added part of that. There was a stamp set that I had from Temu, which is where all these little stamps come from, and that was one of them. So I just added it on here, and then just kind of decorated this little holder. And then here we have our pages. So we have some like this, and I might later, as I start doing my prompts, I might add reinforcements to these, but right now I'm not worried about it. And basically all I did was just take some dyed papers and collaged them with different book pages and stitched around the edge. So, and I got to fix this one because I messed that up. But yeah, this is basically it. Now we have a little pocket right here. And this, oh, you know what I did? This was supposed to open because it had, it's got like a magnetic closure right here. But, well, when I take this out, when I take this page out, I can still do something with it. But I'm not going to worry about it. Then we have this other little one. This is also a little pocket, and you can store something down there. And then it's similar to how that other one is. And I just added different little ephemera and stuff like that on there. And then we have our other set of pages that are up here. And the reason why I did that as far as with my pages is because I didn't want to have like a whole lot of leftover space up here with this, the size of this photo album. The planners were much smaller, so your papers would fit better. But with this, I would have had like empty space if I only just had this one like signature right here. So that's why I had some of them fit in these two prongs, and then I had some fit into these two prongs, if that makes any sense. But yeah, here, let's, oh, I got that in the way, no wonder. So we're just gonna bring this over, bring this one over, and then we have these up here, are the little pages here. And it's the same thing. I just have like leftovers, and then this opens up, and then this folds down. But, you know, we can take it out and then do whatever. And then this comes like that, and here's our pages. And I may have to add more. We'll see as we go along. But yeah, this is my little old journal so far. And I can't wait to get started on my prompts. And I'm going to show you how I made this. to the thrift store because I was trying to decide what type of a binding I was going to have. I considered these. I went and I found these for like 50 cents, which isn't bad at all. These are basically like your vintage style folders. I'm not sure what they're called, but I like how you can add pages and things like that to them. These are pretty cool. But instead of using these, I also went and got like a photo album. So, and this was only like $1. So I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to do mine similar to how Barbara did hers. She had a planner folder, but I don't have a planner because I don't do planning like that. So what I'm going to do is still do it similar to how she did hers. And I think I'm going to cut part of this, but I'm going to leave like a portion of it in here. Like I'm going to keep the spine area and then just maybe a 1/2 inch out, because I'm going to stitch I'm going to have like a soft cover journal, and I need like a portion of this and some fabric to stitch to here. So I need to leave like 1/2 inch out going down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to we'll just do a whole inch, or however wide this, yeah, I'll just do a whole inch, a ruler's width. And I'm just going to take my knife, and I'm just simply going to cut going down, if it'll let me. I might need to change my blade, I don't know. Well, that's working. If you do this, be really careful. Okay? Because I don't want anyone getting hurt if they try this at home. So, just be really careful. Yeah, I think I need to change my blade. Oops. I'm just going to finish taking this off and then this one off, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is. I was able to get it cut, and it had like some cushion inside, which I may just leave. No, I'll take some of it out. And so it has cushion, and then it's got like a really thick piece of cardboard. My sewing machine may or may not go through it. I'm not real sure. But this plastic is pretty sturdy. It's pretty thick. So, like I said, I was wanting to stitch like some fabric going down on this side, and then fabric going on this side, or what, you know, fabric and probably manila envelopes, because like I said, I'm doing mine similar to how Barbara did hers. However, this, being that this is the size of, this is, let's see, roughly 11 3/4 inches by, I don't know, I'm going to figure out what size width I want. It's going to probably be around, let's see, add about a 1/2 inch, 6 1/2, so 11 3/4 by 6 1/2. The downside about me using like a regular 3-ring binder of this size is that your papers are going to fit like that, because they either like this or down here, whichever. What I may do is I may rotate them, like I'll have like a signature here, and then maybe a signature up here, and maybe some ephemera in the middle or something. I'm not real sure, because we've got these extra rings and it's going to be like extra space here and there. So I got to figure out what to do with that. So, okay, what I'm going to do though, since this is pretty thick, like I said, where are my scissors? I'm going to keep these, you know, and I might probably cut this material off of here. It's like a plastic leather kind of material. Definitely keep those for another project. But I'm just going to cut this in the middle, because I don't think that let me get my scissors. I don't think that my sewing machine can handle this thick of a material. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know, I'm just trying to wing it right now. I'm improvising as I'm doing this. Like I said, this is thick enough to where I can add on some, I can stitch on fabric actually on both sides, and that's probably what I'll do. I will stitch fabric, well, I will stitch the, what do you call it? Manila envelope here and here along with the fabric. So it will, and I'll just make like a pocket, and then I'll glue them back to this cardboard on this side, but I'll glue them on these ends right here. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. Let me just clip this here and then clip this down here. And also I'm going to probably, I don't really like this color on the inside. This is going to get covered up. Hopefully I can, my goal is to be able to put it through the sewing machine. Like this part will go down through there. And then, I don't know, I might struggle with this. I don't know how I'm going to get this into my sewing machine. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get this part. I may have to hand stitch. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I know I can definitely, for the outside part of it, I can definitely get this side and I can definitely get this side. But I may have to hand stitch these inner parts because I honestly don't think that my sewing machine is going to go through this thick paper. I have a cheap sewing machine. It's a little Walmart Singer sewing machine. So yeah, I don't think it can handle this thickness. It might be able to, but I'm not going to try to because I'm not trying to change my needle. So yeah. So let me get my file folders. So hold on. Okay, so I've got these cut out, and like I said, I'm just going to stitch on some stuff. So I'm going to set this over here, and what I'm going to do is, let's see, let me make sure. What I had to do was, one side was a little bit longer than the other. This side is a little bit shorter, but I had to make this side a little bit longer because of this extra inch over here compared to this one right here. So this is a ½ inch longer, so I got to make sure I keep my sides separated. So the longer ones are going to be my cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on that front part of the cover. And like I said, I'm going to keep this kind of simple. I have a pair of old these used to be like shorts, capri shorts, whatever you want to call them, that I can't fit anymore. So I just kind of cut them up. And a lot of my fabric I get just using old clothes and scraps and whatever. So we're just going to cut this down and try to fit it. Like I said, I'm going to be collaging on some other fabrics too, but I'm just kind of, I want to try to cut a big enough piece that it'll cover. It'll cover most of it anyway. All right, so I do like this part of the not jeans, but this part of the pants where it has these little holes in them. And you know, we can just grind that up too. So what I'm going to do is, I guess I'll just have it like, coming around this way a little bit. Let's see. I'm just going to glue part of it down, and then I'm going to stitch around it. I'm going to get my other glue. That one's out. I use this one. And it's just to hold it in place. And I'm just using, this is just some Craft Bond extra strength glue. You can use whatever kind of like glue or paste that you have. It's just to kind of keep it in this fabric in place. And I'm wanting to kind of line it up with this seam right here. Well, I don't know, I might not be able to do that because if I want this to show, that's fine. Let's see. And I'm not going to worry about like ironing it out because I'm going to be adding mixed media to it. So I'm not really too concerned right now about that. I just want this to stay in place. So I'm just going to, hold on. I want to kind of stretch it a little bit. And I'm going to be putting some tissue over top of it, like decoupaging some tissue. So, let's see, I might be able to cover most of it. My goal is to be able to cover most of it up without having to add too many more pieces of fabric on here. I'll definitely have to put fabric like over here to cover it up. I'm just winging it too, by the way. This is not very well thought out. It's just, I'm learning that sometimes you just have to go with the flow, because if not, you will not get anything done. I mean, it doesn't hurt to kind of plan, but at the same time, if you don't just go with the flow, you're just going to sit there in thought, deep thought, like, how do I do this? What should I do? And nothing's going to get done. So you just have to just do it. Just do it. Oh, look at that. I think I went too far down. Oh, maybe not. And I'm going to be stitching over top of it, so don't worry. I'm just trying to get the basics of this covered up, because we're going to be doing some collaging, and I am going to do some decoupaging, but I want to do it after I've stitched on some of this fabric. And then I'm just going to put another little piece of this fabric just going to glue this on this part. Underneath. And then I'm just going to peel it back and then add this inside. Okay, then I'm just going to go stitch around the edge, and then I'll show you my next process. Okay, so I have these stitched together, and all I did was just take some blue fabric and then just basically just covered it up. I didn't measure, I just kind of tore, ripped, and stitched. So, and then some of these have like, this has like the beige and then the blue, and then you have blue and blue, blue beige. So let's see which one's which. I think these two are the same size. And then I think these two are the same size. I gotta make sure I get the right ones, keep my fronts and my backs together. So we've got our fronts and our backs, but we're going to need, because this will go here, and then this one can go on the inside. But then we're going to need something to cover this up as well. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create, let's see. I need something that's going to go across on both of them. I think I'll use, since I'm using beige on the outside, I'll do blue. And let's see, like I said, I'm not really measuring. I'm just kind of, I'm just going to tear it enough to cover, to connect here and here. So let's just, where are my scissors? Here are my small ones. Oh, where I put my big ones. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just gonna cut enough to cover up the spine and have like a hinge. And I'm going to glue on part of this so it'll stay in place, but it's really going to stay together once it's connected to these, you know. So let me add a little bit of paste. And this is just going to hold it in place, hopefully. And I'm using paste instead of like the other kind of wet glue. I mean, this is wet, but like compared to like art glitter glue, tacky glue, and things like that, because I don't want it to leave like a residue. But before I stitch stuff on, I think I'm going to, let's see. I think I still have a little piece of canvas. I thought I had the word Dephemerember printed on a piece of canvas from when I made my pillow and my little bin, my little scrap bin. But I don't, if I did, I don't know where I put it at, because I didn't put it with my scraps. I was going to put like Dephemerember right there, but I can still put something else right there. To make it interesting, I think I'm going to take some scraps of maybe burlap, or even this right here. No, I'm not going through all that. I thought about putting some stuff going across this way. Actually, I have some leftover pieces, scrap pieces from another project that I did like last year. So, let me just see. I wonder if I can get like 3 pieces that are almost the same size. And I like how they've already got the stitch on there. And so basically all I'm going to do, let me make sure you can see. Let me see. Can you guys see? Okay, let me make sure I'm in frame. I'm just going to distress these. I'm just going to take from my vintage photo. And I think I'm also going to take some of this string, just cause I'm going to glue it on there too. Well, it's going to get stitched on there. But let me first, you know what, I'm just going to take some Mod Podge. Well, before I put these on there, I'm like, my mind's all over the place. Before I, since I am going to Mod Podge these on here, I was also going to add some tissue to the outside of the covers. But I'm going to go ahead and do that on some of these first. And I just got like a bag of like tissue that I've already used, and some of them are just like plain white. I had like 3-ply and I peeled them apart, but I kept the other ones, so the white parts of them. So that's what I'm going to use on here. I'm going to decoupage that on. Let me get my paintbrush. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, I'm just going to like pour a little bit of this Mod Podge going down, and I'm going to take my little brush and just spread it around. And sometimes after I use the brush, I'll come back with a wet rag and kind of dab it. But I'm going to do this first, do like this first. And even after using Mod Podge, sometimes I'll come in and use like some white gesso, because white gesso has Mod Podge in, or yeah, Mod Podge in it anyway. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add this tissue on here, and this is just going to give it some texture. And then to make sure that it stays down, I'm going to add some white gesso. But first, let me add the Mod Podge. I'll go ahead and add a little bit of white gesso on here. And then I'm just going to distress these. With some vintage photo. And I'll eventually go back over it with some other colors. But right now I'm just going to distress it right before I add it on here. And it's going to take like a day to dry. Still need a Mod Podge. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add my Mod Podge on each one of these, and then we're gonna attach it. I'm just going to take some saran wrap and since a lot of times we put this over top of our jars of like Mod Podge and mixed media to keep it from the lids getting stuck, I figure I can just cover this up with that. And then maybe wrap a rubber band around it. So I'm just going to take some of these rubber bands. And then we're just going to wrap them around. And then hopefully it'll stay in place. Only thing I'm worried about is the paint not drying. But if I can get it to stay in place and dry in place, then I'm okay. Because I can get it to dry later on. This is a process. So if you don't have patience, or I guess it's called the faint at heart, you might not want to do this because it's very time consuming. But I think in the end, you'll get the result that you want. So we're going to let this dry, and then I'm going to go back to my elements that I started out with. Okay, so I have put like different textures on there, like texture paste, collage medium, not collage medium, but distress, crackle paste. What is this one? Texture paste, crackle paste, translucent, and texture paste, crackle. This is crackle paste. It must be opaque, I guess. I don't know. It just says distress texture paste crackle. So, yeah. So I put some of those on these just to kind of give them some texture. Now we're going to kind of enhance it a little bit, or add a little bit of color to it. Let me set Effie over here. And I printed Effie out once again on that canvas paper that I use for my pillow. It's the Inkjet canvas. I'm not sure if I showed you or not. Where is it? Inkjet art paper. It's the same one that I used for my my pillow and my little Effie bin. Wait a minute, turn this around. Same one. And the reason why I did that is because like I said, I use an inkjet printer. I have an old, like, 14-year-old inkjet printer. And to me, it printed out better on that canvas paper compared to just regular copy paper or whatever. Yeah, the quality of it's way different. And I scaled it down just a little bit. On my printer, it's the image is probably a huge image. So when it prints on my printer, on the settings, when it says either scale to fit or it says like 22%. So the image must have been super huge, but I scaled it down to like 15. No, this one was scaled to 15%, but it was still too big. So I scaled this one down, I think, to like 12%. So it was, you know, just a little bit shorter and smaller. But I wanted to make sure that it's going to fit on the page. But I'm going to be layering this. So, but I just want to kind of, matter of fact, let me just go ahead and get an idea of the different things that I'm going to layer on here. Because I should probably do that first before I stitch it onto the actual journal. Hadn't thought about that. So I've got my alcohol inks again and my Distress Oxide ink. And well, this is another speckled egg. I have this Distress ink and then Distress Oxide ink, which are slightly different tones of the same color. Then I have my teakwood alcohol and then mermaid. So I'm just going to kind of, I don't want to mess this up. So on some of the images, actually I'm just going to put that there. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the alcohol ink. Sorry about that. I keep bumping into my camera. I don't have that mixative, so I have to add water to do some, just to kind of loosen it up a little bit. So I'm just going to dip some of these in the areas where there's texture paste. I'm just going to dip this in those little areas just to kind of give it that distressed look. I'm going to do the same thing with this blue. Add a little bit of water. And let that sit there. Yeah, add a little blue to this. Not too much, but just enough, just a little bit. Christmas tree. Definitely going to go around the edges. I really like how that turned out. So it's been at least about 1.5 hours since I've put the rubber bands on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the rubber bands and plastic off of it. And it was mainly just so that these would get glued down in a round format, I guess, if that's a good word to use, or manner. So I'm just going to let it air dry, because I feel like having this plastic on it, it's not going to dry quite as quick as I would like for it to. So might have to add a little bit more glue right here. Actually, I can just pat it down. It'll be okay. Whatever doesn't stick, it's fine. I just mainly wanted to make sure that round part got stuck on there. So I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'll come back later, and then we're going to combine these onto the journal. I'll stitch them on, and I'll be right back. I've decided that since this is wet and it's going to take like overnight for it to completely dry, I'm just going to go ahead and spray this. That way tomorrow I can just sew everything together. I'm just going to go ahead and spray. Okay, so now I've got the papers done, pretty much, and I just stitched around the edges, added some, just like collaged on it, and added papers and stuff like that. They're still pretty plain because I'm going to be adding them to the journal. So, and I'll revisit these pages in a minute, because I'm going to have to cut or punch some holes. Once I assemble this right here, I'm going to have to punch holes that that these can go into. So, but some of them are going to, some of the pages I will have overlapping each other like this. So some of the holes will have to go here, and then the other ones will have to go up this way, you know. So we'll see. But first, this stuck pretty well, kind of, sort of, well, mainly on this side it stuck pretty good. But like I said, I'm going to be stitching, well, hope I didn't glue it on there. I'm going to stitch this fabric to this part right here along with, let's see, is this the front? Yeah, this is the front. So I'm going to be adding this on top of here, you know. So let's go ahead and do that now. And then I'm going to have to, like, probably hand stitch that other one. So let's just do this first. Go ahead and get this. Hopefully it'll fit in the sewing machine and doesn't mess up. I think it'll be okay. Alright, so I'll be right back after I've stitched these on. So I ran into a dilemma because I was trying to feed this, well, hold on, this right here, the cover and this through the sewing machine. But of course all this bulk was like in the way. So what I ended up having to do was just stitch on just this portion of it, because in order for me to get close enough on this red, I had to go ahead and stitch these two on first. But this, by this being extended, this fabric being extended a little bit further out, I'll be able to just send it through the sewing machine, you know, now, because it's not as close to this as I didn't want it to be. If that makes any kind of sense. I know I'm not making any sense. So now my next dilemma for the internal part, I thought I was going to be able to stitch on the inner part of the journal, but it's, once again, I've got that same problem because this is too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to create something that extends out this way. So how should I put it? Basically, this is just not going to get seen, and I'm just going to have to make something that comes out further long ways so that I can just stitch them together here and like here, if that makes any sense. So I'm getting ready to create a hinge of fabric to do just that. I'm going to stitch this part to this so that I'll be able to stitch these together, if that makes any sense. Wish me luck. Okay, so this is what I was trying to achieve. By adding these two extended pieces to the outsides, it looks kind of funny right now, but I can make it look right once I put all these together. Then I can add the inside part, which I'm going to go ahead and stitch the inside part together. Then I'll put the outside over top of it, if that makes any sense. And we can still have a pocket like right there. Or I might just stitch it all together, either way. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to be, this extended part is what I'm going to stitch together. And then we'll put it together. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now I just need to punch holes inside to put these in here. So like I said, I'm just going to have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to line these up like how I want them positioned. So I'll have this like, well, yeah, I'll have this like this. This will go on the first half. So I'm just going to mark, let me clip these together. because they're basically empty pages. So let me see. I'm gonna have this like this like this. Try to center that. Make sure this is centered. Make sure this is centered. And then I'm just gonna, you know, clip them the way we do when we're doing our journals, our signature journals. And I'm just gonna line this up with the rings in order for them to fit. Let me just line it up like this. And then I'm just simply gonna mark like where to punch the hole at. And I'm just gonna take my Crop-a-dile. I'm gonna use the big hole punch. Move these strings out of the way. And then we're just gonna punch right there. And then right there. And then we're just gonna put these inside. And then it opens up. And I can take each page out as I need to, you know. So. Now this one I'm going to have to redo, but that's fine. I'm not worried about it. And I could always do some page reinforcements later on. Just right now I'm not. Then I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to do the same thing with these. So let me just line these up together. Make sure they're centered. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, for this page, I'm just going to have this come in because it's going to open up. And I don't want it, I really don't want holes like all through it. Actually, what I could do, I'll turn it like this, and then I can punch the holes in it. I'm so indecisive. That's part of my crafting process, is trying to figure out what in the world I'm doing. So yeah, I'll turn it like this, and then I can punch the holes. But these are going to go up this way. So let me mark it to about right there. It's like roughly about 1 inch out. I have one of those hole puncher things but I don't know where I put it at. I've reorganized stuff and I have no idea where I put my stuff, so I have to just kind of wing it. So, but that's the beauty in scrapbooking, is you know, just playing around. If you mess up, you can always fix it or something, you know. So okay, I hope I did that right. Oh goodness, I must not have. It's slightly off, I think. One or the other is going to have to give. So, okay, so this one is here. And I'm going to have to do this one again. It's fine. It's mine, so it's my personal journal. So if I mess up, oh well, it's okay. There we go. Now I have my little journal, and with removable pages that are similar to a what do you call it, planner or whatever. I've never made one in this fashion before, but I'm satisfied with it. I can live with it. So yeah, I can live with it. So that's what we have, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos, blog, and social media sites. And make sure you check out the rest of the other people who are participating in the Dephemerember. There's like a whole lot of people. From Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, There are quite a few of them out there. Mainly on Instagram and YouTube is where I've seen most of them, and Facebook. But, yeah. So, thanks for watching.